flawless victory.
Alright, this is a very interesting little game. This is like John Wick meets Into the Breach with some Slay the Spire mixed in, or maybe a more accurate way to describe this is to say that this is turn-based Superhot. I wanted to try this out because the idea of a John Wick style of combat in a game sounds absolutely incredible to me, but it's clear that such a fast-paced and versatile style of combat is pretty much impossible to achieve in real time, since the decision-making and variety of possible moves at your disposal would be way too much to handle. And that's what Fights in Tight Spaces is trying to achieve with its extremely descriptive title and its turn/card-based combat. And I gotta say, after trying this out for a few hours, it's looking quite promising in its early access debut. Since you might not know all the games that I just previously referenced, let me break down what the gist of Fights in Tight Spaces is. You get a deck of cards where each card is a combat move, be it something that allows you to deal damage or move, or both. You have a variety of different kicks, punches, and shoves to choose from, which vary in range and damage output. Some moves will reposition the enemy to a different square, allowing you to pull off some cool friendly fire moments with the enemies shooting or punching each other. Levels are broken up in small fighting areas, hence the name Fights in Tight Spaces, with most of these rooms being your typical action movie back alleys, bars, garages, and bathrooms. Level geometry is quite important here, since getting boxed in against a wall means little to no ways of escaping without getting hurt. The levels themselves don't seem to be randomly generated, but the order of the stuff in the branching path that you need to take definitely is. After each fight, you get to pick a card to slowly build up your deck, so this is very much like Slay the Spire, both due to the path and the type of events and options that you get to choose between each room. These range from being able to heal or buy cards to random events where I seem to always end up losing money. Overall, the foundations here are very solid. It's mixing up a ton of different ideas from games that are all absolutely excellent. The way you move enemies into each other and force them to attack themselves is very much pulled from Into the Breach, and it's equally satisfying in this game when you manage to pull off a nice string of enemies attacking each other. The visual style works really well, with the action being satisfying and clear. Some moves are just really cool, like the head bash, while others lack the proper impact, however. One problem that I do have is that there's a combo system where you increase your combo count, and that allows you to perform special moves, which will then reset the counter. The whole system is kind of confusing. It's really hard to understand what's going to build up your combo and what isn't, and there's no real icon on the cards that seems to inform this. This is early access, and it's something that can be easily solved with some tweaks to the interface, so I'm sure this will get better in future updates. Same goes for enemy attacks, which sometimes don't seem to trigger, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's a bug or I'm missing something, but I lined up enemies on each other's attack path, and sometimes they just wouldn't attack in their turn, and sometimes they would, and I'm not sure what the difference is, or why sometimes they're triggering and why sometimes they're not. The more I play this, the more potential I see in it. There's different types of starter decks that cater to different styles, like being overly defensive or offensive. Movement is hugely important, and I think there's a lot of room for cool cards to take both advantage of the movement options and stuff like maybe grappling or combos that depend on enemy positioning and stuff like that. Some cards already do this, but there's definitely room for many more. Maybe something like a card that has you grab a guy and force him to shoot to one side before hitting him and shoving him out of the way, or a card where you can grab someone and use them as a human shield for a turn, or stuff like that. That combo system where you build up your combo for special cards is prime for powerful moves like that. But right now, most of the cards that I've seen that use that are basically super powerful kicks or punches. You know, nothing too fancy or special, actually. This is a cool little game. Whether it has any lags or not depends largely on what they do with enemy variety and card design. But the concept is very solid, and the potential, I think, is absolutely huge. One thing that I think would be very cool, though, is to have you queue up your actions and then have them perform all at once. Every time you play a card, there's a small animation for the card to play out, and then you pick another one and so on, and I just can't get it out of my head how cool it would be for more fluid animations to take place all at the same time. I don't know if it's something the developers have thought of, but queuing up cards with some sort of preview overlay or something and then have everything play out would be damn cool. There's already the option to kind of do this once you finish a level with the replay option, which again, it's very reminiscent of something like Superhot, but it's still not fluid enough for it to look super cool. Alright, that's gonna be it for today. Let me know what you guys think of this game and if you're interested in picking it up. I very much enjoy playing small games like this every now and then to take a break from the regular stuff that I usually play, which can be kind of stressful, like multiplayer games and competitive shooters. This would be absolutely perfect on the Switch, by the way. You can play a small demo right now on Steam. It's called the Prologue, and I suggest you try that out before buying the game. I will revisit this later on to see how it evolves, so I might do a follow-up video in the future. But that's gonna be it for now. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.